Stocking up for when things go south. Hey guys, I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back everyone. How is everyone doing today? Today I'm here with another Prepper Pantry haul. Keep on prepping, keep on building your preparedness now more than ever. It's a crazy world out there, friends. Every day a new wake-up call or another reminder that we need to be prepared for any possibility. Expect the unexpected. Because if there's one thing that I can tell you for sure, it's that something will happen and it's never what you think it will be. Am I right? It's usually something totally out of left field. So there's no one cut and dried strategy to being prepared. Different situations are going to call for different plans and different preps. So you truly have to be prepared for anything. Be flexible and you're always going to learn something new if you're paying attention. Even if you completely ignore everything that's going on overseas, just look at what's going on in our own backyard. Lately, everything from train derailments to chemical plant fires and explosions, you need to be prepared to shelter in place, but also prepared to leave it all behind and evacuate if necessary. Do you have your evacuation plan and gear ready? Do you have PPE for yourself and your family? We've had people laugh at us for buying things like this, but there may come a time when this could mean the difference between life and death, or at least between sickness and health, or the longevity of your life. I've always looked at it like this. I'd rather have something and not need it than need it and not have it. Just some things to think about. And now let's take a look at what we've added to our prepper pantry this week. Oh, and one more thing. In our home, we do everything we can not to waste anything. If you've been with us a while, you probably know this. So that's why this is a little bit strange, but stick around toward the end of the video and I'll show you why I buy Parmesan cheese just to throw it away. So I'm going to start over here with this stuff, which is from my Amazon haul. Now, most of this is all from Subscribe and Save. How many of you out there use Subscribe and Save? I definitely use it. If I can put it on my Subscribe and Save, I do. I know I've had people ask me questions about how it works, so let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in me doing a video on, or if that's something that everyone's already probably pretty familiar with. This first thing right here is a big bottle of salmon oil. Now this is for making dog and cat food. You probably realize that I've started getting into making some of our own food for our animals, dogs, cats, chickens, ducks. There's a lot of reasons I've started doing this. One is accessibility and supply chain issues and not being able to find it. Another is the price. Another is just preparedness, making sure that we have enough and have a sustainable way to produce it if things go south. And the other is just the quality of the food. So I've made cat food. I've done canned cat food. You might have seen that video. I'm getting ready to do some homemade dog food and I'm going to try to can and freeze dry that. Now I do sometimes just put this on our dog's food, but I'm going to be putting some of this in the food that I make. Now this isn't the one I've bought before. The one I've bought before said fish oil. This one says salmon oil. This was a really good deal at the time that I purchased it, which is why I got it. I don't know if there's a difference. Salmon's a fish, right? So if you know more about that, definitely let me know down in the comments if there's a difference between salmon oil and fish oil. But this bottle comes with a pump top, which is really handy if you do put it right onto the dog's food. And then the next thing I've got here is this big thing of ground ginger. This is 12 ounces. I don't use a ton of ground ginger, but one of our most favorite family recipes, teriyaki chicken, uses this ground ginger. I usually tend to use this squeezy ginger, which is a little more like fresh ginger. It has to be refrigerated. But my chicken teriyaki uses this, and I'm going to be canning up a whole bunch of chicken teriyaki here coming up pretty soon. So I needed to replenish my ginger. And then the next thing I got is some more clear gel, which is in this bag. Clear gel is just sort of like a modified form of cornstarch that's approved for use in canning. So people use this a lot in apple pie filling. I've used it in pie fillings and things like that, but I also have a couple other canning projects I'm doing that I'm using clear gel in, and so I needed to replenish. I usually buy this brand that comes in this canister, but I just checked the prices, and per ounce this brand was a little bit cheaper, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be just as good, so I figured I'd grab this, and I can always put it into the other canister when it's empty or put it into one of my own canisters. Now this cherry pitter I just picked up because I saw it on a really good sale at the time that I saw it, so I just grabbed it. I do have a cherry pitter that pits, just manually pits one cherry, but this one has a hopper so it can feed a bunch of cherries down in, and it's supposed to be really easy. Just bam, 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 just hit that and it pits all the cherries. Puts the pits down here. So this should be, we like cherries a lot, and in the summer we sometimes go through a lot of them. and process them and things. So I thought this would be a good thing to have. I haven't had a chance to try it out yet. If you've ever used a cherry pitter like this, let me know. And then next, I just grabbed this bag of almond flour. This is a 3-pound bag, and it was a really good deal on Amazon. I was gonna pick some almond flour up. This is just something that I would use for like low carb baking. I was gonna pick this up at Ocean State Job Lots because they had the Bob's Red Mill brand on 30% off, and they also had $2 coupons stuck on them. So I thought that was an amazing deal. But before I pulled the trigger, I checked Amazon real quick, and I found this one was an even better deal. So I grabbed this bag. And then I got a couple different brewer's yeast powders. Now I talked about this in my last haul where I got all the stuff for the homemade chicken food. The difference between brewer's yeast and nutritional yeast, which I kind of always grew up thinking of interchangeably, but they're slightly different. And the biggest difference, I think, is the minerals that they have in them. So I got nutritional yeast from Azure Standard last time. And this time I got some brewer's yeast. I got these from Amazon. These two are like human grade ones. So they're supposed to be like debittered. They supposedly take the bitter flavor out of it, but I still don't know how good this is going to taste. The nutritional yeast actually tastes really good. But this has a lot of nutrition. You just have to use a little bit of it. So we're going to try this for ourselves and also for our animals. But I did get this big bag of brewer's yeast that's like an animal grade one. It's not a human grade, so it's not debittered, but it was much cheaper. And so I'm going to try this probably for the animals. Probably try these for ourselves, but I could also use these for the animals as well. Now, it's important to have some good nutritional supplements in your prepper pantry because depending on the situation, your nutrition might not be that good. It's important to have good nutrition even when times are good because you want to make sure that you're in, you know, the best condition that you can be in if things go south. But brewer's yeast and nutritional yeast, they supply a lot of the things you know, that meat might supply. For people who are vegans or vegetarians, which I'm definitely not a vegan or a vegetarian, I love to eat meat. But if you were in an emergency situation and a dire situation, you may or may not have, you know, access to as much meat as we would typically have in our diet. So it's important to have supplements just in case. Now this was something that I picked up. It says it's for baby formula. I originally got these for my son to use for his protein powder. But he ended up going with something different. He's going with these, which he can clip onto his backpack. So these just unscrew, and they have like a little opening that you would use to pour something out. And they stack up. You know, you can stack, it comes with 6. You can stack as many as you need. And even though he didn't end up using these, I thought I would keep these for myself rather than returning them just because they look like they could be handy for a lot of little things. And I'm always looking for containers to, you know, keep small things and small amounts of things. So I kept those. And then this right here, this is just a set of these Mylar bags. Now these are the kind that have the clear front. They're not Mylar on both sides. So these are not something that we would use for long-term food storage. I think I originally bought these. These are about a 5x7 size, so they're also not very big. They came with their own labels. I think I originally bought these bags to use for smaller amounts of ingredients or seasonings and things like that when I do my meals in a bag. If I want to include some seasonings or some ingredients, and I'm only planning on keeping those in that bag on the shelf for usually around a year at the most. But what we ended up using these for a lot is putting things like candy that we freeze dried in when we were giving them as gifts. And I also use these for the heart-shaped ice cream sandwiches that we did on Valentine's Day. So we actually went through the whole pack that we had already bought before. I can't remember if this is a 100 pack or a 50 pack, but we went through the whole pack, so I had to order some more. But just keep in mind, anything with the clear front or the clear window is not for long-term storage. It's really just for short-term. Now, a few other Amazon items here. These are just little mini packets of honey, and I've gotten the Manuka honey before. This isn't Manuka honey. It's just raw, unfiltered, pure honey. And it's 20 single-serve packets. And I love having little packets of things that we can have with us and stash in the car, in bug-out bags, in our backpacks, any place that we might need something like this, but not be able to carry a whole bottle of honey, for example. So this could be used for, you know, flavoring your tea or whatever. But what we use honey for more often in something like this is like medicinal uses. I remember years ago reading that honey was even better than any cough syrup for a cough. So we have not used cough syrup in years and years and years. We use honey for sore throats. We use it for coughs and things like that. It's also antibacterial, so it could be used for wound care if this was all that you had. There's a lot of really good uses for this kind of honey, and I like having things in little individual packets just because it's easier to always have what you need with you or what you might want. And then a bottle of the Super C. We always, like I said, we try to keep plenty of supplements on hand, especially if you're in an emergency situation and your nutrition might suffer. You're going to need things like this. And this Super C is a really good immune boosting one. So we take this a lot anyways in the winter. And so I had to get another. But I really like this one because it has the vitamin D3 and the zinc right in it, and a really high dose of vitamin C. And then a couple seasonings. These are just a couple burger seasonings because there was a recipe I wanted to try the other day that called for a burger seasoning, and I didn't have anything that said burger seasoning, so I figured these were a couple that I would try. We always like these Grill Mates. All their seasonings that I've used I like, and then this was just something that sounded good, so we're going to try these two. This imitation rum extract, this is a pretty big bottle. I bought a smaller bottle that I could get more quickly, but this is something that I use in my banana bread, honestly, and that's really all I use it in right now. So if you have any suggestions of anything that you use rum extract in, then go ahead and let me know down in the comments, because this is a pretty big 16-ounce bottle, and all I use it for is banana bread. So I also got this Lawry's marinade from the Subscribe and Save. I've gotten this a couple other times recently. This is a marinade that I use in a couple of dinners that I make, and I haven't been able to find it in my area. So I've been just grabbing it from Amazon because they have a good price. It's $2 something, I think, for this bottle. And I'm just getting one at a time because I don't use it that often, and it's an inexpensive item that allows me to, you know, add an extra item to my Subscribe and Save if I need it to get those 5 items to get the biggest discount. So this is just one bottle of this marinade. And then I got a bottle of this. I think I remember my mom having this when I was younger, and I have bought this in the past for when my older kids were younger. It's a coffee syrup, so it's like you would put it in milk and make coffee flavored milk, which some of my kids would really like. So I figured I would get a bottle and try this again because we haven't had it in quite a few years. But I think it can be important to have flavorings, not only for water, but to have flavorings for milk. Because if you're in an emergency and you're using your shelf-stable milk, hopefully you have a milk that you like. But, you know, not everyone is going to enjoy the shelf-stable milks, or you might have some that you end up not liking that much. And so adding a little bit of flavoring will make it that much better if you're just using it for drinking. I think people always think about the water flavoring packets like these, but not necessarily about things to flavor milk. So the last thing I got here from Amazon was just this 12-pack case of Campbell's soup, and this is the broccoli cheddar. I use this in recipes. I use this in my chicken broccoli cheese rice bake that I did, meal in a bag that I did. I feel like these Campbell's soups are really great to have because a lot of these are recipe makers for me. You can throw these in as a sauce with noodles or rice, vegetables, and, you know, some kind of protein, and you can make a casserole. I know not everyone likes to use the Campbell's soup. Maybe they like to make something homemade instead. But for me, I feel like I'm like the 1950s casserole queen. I love using the Campbell's soups. I always have. My mother did, my grandmother did. So, and what I actually learned recently is that that was when America kind of became hooked on casseroles, was during the Great Depression, when that was a way to stretch things and make a meal that could feed a lot of people when you didn't have, say, a lot of meat or a lot of vegetables or those things that were more expensive and harder to come by. So making a casserole with a lot of pasta or rice or something and smaller amounts of those ingredients was what they did. It's like the meat is more of a seasoning, and during hard times, a lot of the time you have to do that. And I really love casseroles in general, honestly, and my kids like a lot of the casseroles that I make. So I have found that usually I get a better deal buying these soups by the case from Amazon than I do at my Walmart, and I don't usually find great deals at my grocery stores that I have local to me. So this is usually my best way of buying these soups. So next I did get some of these drink mix packets. I've got 2 30 packs that are variety packs, and then I've got 4 of the 10 packs. I grabbed these at Walmart, and there was an Ibotta deal on them, so I did get a little bit of a deal on them. I used to get these at Dollar Tree a lot of the time, these packets, but they are a better deal at Walmart now, especially with the Ibotta deal. But usually Ibotta only has a deal for the smaller packets, but this time they had a deal for the larger boxes as well. So I was able to get some of each. Like I said, it's important to have something to flavor your water. If you're using water that's been stored for a while or been treated, it might not taste that great. And just to make sure that it's going to be palatable for you. And we do use these quite often. So we are always just replenishing our supply and rotating. Now this I was pretty excited about. This is, I've got a whole bunch of these back here. I probably have a dozen boxes. These are these SlimFast keto fat bombs. I actually really kind of like these to have for a sweet, a low carb sweet. I like to keep them in my vehicle. It's just something to munch on if I need it. These used to be, maybe they still are, I'm not sure if Walmart still sells them, but they were like $10 a box, which I thought was ridiculous. I wouldn't pay that. My sister bought me some as a gift once and I really liked them, but I would never buy them again. And then I found some on clearance at Walmart for I think around $3, and I was so excited. And so to find them at Dollar Tree, I was very, very excited. So I bought a whole bunch of these. I had never seen these at Dollar Tree before. So next here I've got a bunch of personal care items, and this is all mostly from Walmart, or maybe all from Walmart. It's definitely important to make sure that you have a good supply of your personal care items, you know, in your preps. It's not just about food and water, but all the things that you might need. Now these little Q-tips packs, I do love these little Q-tips packs. They're super handy and I use Q-tips all the time, so I do like to carry them with me and pack them in all my gear. But you can refill these. You don't need to, you know, buy multiples. You can refill them. But the reason I bought so many of these is because, number one, I actually think these cases are really pretty handy for storing things like small charger cables and things like that. And these were still, I put them in my cart on Walmart online, and they were still 97 cents, I believe. But when I went in my store and I happened to notice where they are in the store, the price had been raised in the store. So I thought while the price was still lower online, I would grab 10 of them just to have, because I have a feeling the price online will probably go up soon as well. So that is important to note. There can be a difference between the prices online and the prices in the store, at least on Walmart. So keep an eye on those kind of things. And they should match their online price in the store if I had gone up and asked, but I just bought them through the app, because then I can also get my shop and earn cash back through swag bucks. The next thing I got is 3 packs of these nail grooming kits. These I think are an awesome buy at Walmart. I think they're $1.24 now, but they have a set of nail clippers and a set of toenail clippers, and they're actually really good clippers. I like these clippers better than I like the Dollar Tree ones. And then they also have these other tools, which, you know, may or may not be very important. They do have tweezers, but I don't know if these are going to be the best tweezers, but still it's handy to have some extra tweezers. But I mostly buy these for the nail clippers because I feel like for $1.24, that's a good price for those two. And then these toothbrushes, these are the kids' battery operated toothbrushes, of course. They're Oral-B. These come with the batteries installed in them, so they're pretty awesome. My kids are kind of getting old for these kind of character toothbrushes. My youngest daughter's 11, but honestly, she likes purple and she'll use whatever. Like, nobody knows what toothbrush you're using in the privacy of your own home. But my sister sent me a picture from the store that these were on clearance for $1.49. So I thought that that was a great deal and I was going to grab a few. And then when I went to grab them and I scanned them with my Ibotta app, it brought up a $2 rebate. There was a $2 rebate on these. Now, unfortunately, the rebate was only good for one. Sometimes they're good for multiples, like 5. But so one of these I got for free plus 50 cents back. And I did buy, I think I bought 3 the first time, and then I was hoping that rebate would come back, but it was almost expired, so it never came back for me. But I did buy a couple more of the toothbrushes because that's a really good price for these toothbrushes with the battery in them already. And I prefer, you know, everybody in the family to use the motorized toothbrushes. I just feel like they get your teeth cleaner. And we like to have plenty on hand so that we can replace them easily when we can get a good deal like that. It's going to save me money in the long run. And also, if there was an emergency and we weren't able to get toothbrushes from the store, we would have enough. Heck, even an adult could use one of these in an emergency. I mean, who really cares what's on your toothbrush, right? Now, these toothbrushes, I was pretty surprised. I have bought these before a lot, but it's been a while. I hadn't bought them in quite a while. These were always $1 a pack, and it's 6 toothbrushes. And they're decent toothbrushes. They're just manual toothbrushes, but I felt for sure we were starting to get low on toothbrushes because I like to have these on hand just for, you know, I mean, definitely to have extra toothbrushes for emergencies, but at the same time, if you have a kid who comes to spend the night and they didn't bring their toothbrush, or, you know, one of your kids can't find their toothbrush, it fell in the toilet or something like that, and they just need an extra one really quickly, you can grab one of these. So that's what they've been doing. We've been grabbing these here and there. So we were getting low, so I needed to replace them. I was sure that with the way prices have been going up, I was sure that these would be more than $1, but these were still $1. That was such a good deal for 6 toothbrushes. I got 3 of the 6-packs of the firm and 1 of the soft. And honestly, I feel like this is something that you could throw in your cart just like every time you shop and stock up on toothbrushes. That way it's just $1. And then some of these things, this is a shave cream. It did have its top when I brought it home. Oh, there it is. I think one of the cats knocked it down off the counter and it fell off, but I had put it back and it was working. So this was marked down on clearance, and there was also an I bought a deal. So this ended up being a really good deal for a shave cream. And then all the rest of these are just conditioners, and these were not any particular good deals, but they're just ones that we do like that were not too expensive. We go through conditioner like crazy here with a house full of girls. I practically can't keep up with it, so I'm always trying to buy some. I try to get deals when I can, but there wasn't anything good on clearance, and there were not any really good coupons or rebates. So I just grabbed some of the cheaper ones that we like. This is a very cheap one that we don't probably really like that much, but I figured if I can stock up on some of these really cheap ones that nobody will use unless it's really a dire emergency, then we'll always have those at least. And then just a few more first aid medicine type of items. These are just the anti-inflammatory pain relievers. The ibuprofen, the best deal that for me is the 2-pack at Walmart. That's cheaper than my warehouse club, so I get this. And then this is the naproxen. It's like an Aleve substitute. We don't use this much, but I was having some trouble with my hip and I thought that this might help. And I took it one day and I wasn't that impressed, but it's still good to have some of these on hand. And the next is my haul from the Asian market. I love going to the Asian market. I hardly ever get there. That we don't have one any closer than an hour away. So I might get there once or twice a year, which is unfortunate. But we had to travel for one of my daughter's cheer competitions, so we were right near the Asian market. So I went in and grabbed 4 butane fuels, because that's usually the cheapest place to buy your butane fuel. Although right after I got these, I did check Amazon, and there was a really good deal on the 12-pack of, I think it's this same brand. I'm not sure if the sale's still going on, but these were $2 something. I think these were $2.29 a piece. They're not marked, so I'm not sure. But the other Asian market that I didn't get to this time, I think usually has a 4-pack for $8. So this was a little bit more, but I don't know when I'll get to that other store. But when I saw that 12-pack on sale on Amazon, it was probably almost just as good of a deal as buying them at the Asian market. So keep an eye if you don't have an Asian market near you or any place that sells the butane fuel cheap. Keep an eye on Amazon, because you know how their prices go up and down. So, you know, grab something when you see a good price. I will link to that 12-pack down in the description, and if it's not on sale right now, just keep an eye on it. Then I got 4 more of my favorite coconut milk. This used to be one of the cheapest coconut milks, and it's one of the best, but recently, of course, the prices have gone up. So these were... These also don't have tags on them, but I'm pretty sure they were around $2.29. They were just over $2, which I used to get them for $1.55. So it's kind of stings to buy them for that price. That's why I only got 4, but it's still really good coconut milk. And then I did get 3 packs. I thought I got more than 3 packs, so maybe some didn't make it out of the car, but these are lo mein noodles. My kids love lo mein, and we don't go out to eat hardly ever or get takeout or anything, just because, you know, budget wise, that's not really in our budget, so we hardly ever do that. So I do try to cook things like that at home from time to time. So this was a good deal on the lo mein noodles. They do sell lo mein noodles at Walmart, but this was a better deal. And then I got some more seasonings. These are annatto. There's a powder and a, you know, it says dried, so it's kind of little chunks. Now, my recipe for carnitas calls for achiote paste, and I think I remember that that's another word for annatto. I think it's the same thing. So I was actually looking for like a dried version of that to use for a meal in a jar. So I saw these and I thought that these would be worth a try. I love all the cool seasonings and things that you can find at the Asian market, and they usually have pretty good prices. And then I got a couple of these tamarind soup mix. I don't know how this is going to be. This was just kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. I had been wanting like a powdered tamarind flavor for a meal in a jar, and I saw this soup mix, and I'm not really sure what it's going to taste like, but I figured I could try it. It might work. And then I did get this, which is a Madras curry powder, which I don't think I have any of this. I have lots of different curry powders and curry pastes and things, but I think this is a hotter curry, a more spicy curry. And then of course I got 2 bottles of fish sauce because they have great prices on things like this. Now you can get things like this at your regular grocery store, fish sauce, coconut milk, and all those, but the prices are much better at the Asian market, and they usually have lots of different brands to choose from. So I usually go with the cheapest, to be honest, but I use the fish sauce and the coconut milk and things like that in a lot of different like curry recipes and peanut sauce recipes and things like that. And I'm going to be going through quite a bit of this in some canning soon too. So I thought it was best to stock up on a little bit more of these. Now this here is my Thrive Life haul. This is all freeze-dried foods. If you watch us regularly, you know that I order from Thrive Life at least once a month through their delivery service. So what I've got here is some number 10 cans of single ingredient foods. These are gallon-sized cans. I've got some corn, and I've got some ground beef, otherwise known as Hamburg. I've got 2 cans of broccoli, and I've got a can of chopped onions. The broccoli is a favorite of ours. It's one of our favorite veggies. All of our kids like it, and it's such a nutritious cruciferous vegetable, so I really would not ever want to be without broccoli. So having a shelf-stable option for broccoli that I can stock up on in our long-term pantry is priceless to me. It really is. Now these single ingredients I use in my meals in a jar. I use them in some of my meals in a bag, but we also use them in our everyday cooking as well. It's really transformed the way that we work in the kitchen because these have such a long shelf life compared to fresh ingredients. So I found that always having them on hand means I don't have to run out to the store or change my dinner menu if I realize that I've like run out of something, or I don't have as much as I thought I did, you know, I don't have enough, or even if I pull something out of the fridge to make dinner and I find that it's started to go bad, like mushrooms or spinach, for example, that started to go slimy in the fridge. That happens to me a lot. You know, you've got them in the fridge, you're counting on them for your dinner, but you pull them out and they ain't looking so hot. Or, you know, you open up your pack of chicken or hamburger or whatever it is, and it's kind of got a funny smell, like it's starting to go bad. I love knowing that I have freeze-dried food on hand that can save my dinner. And then, of course, we also use some of them when we go camping and things like that, because I've just had some bad luck with certain foods in the coolers, like eggs, for example. So these really come in handy for things like that. But the other thing that I got here from Thrive Life is these are complete freeze-dried meals, similar to what you might get from Mountain House or some of those other companies. They do have a 20-year shelf life. The cans are 25, but these meals are 20. They're complete meals. They've got protein, they've got veggies, they've got the starch included. All you have to do is add boiling water, and in a few minutes you have a meal. And you can see if you look at these that they really do have meat and veggies in them. A lot of the other companies that are selling like the survival bucket type of things, if you actually look at the meals that they include in those, they're basically just a glorified rice-a-roni, pasta-roni type of dishes like that. They're just starches and fillers, and they don't really have any meat or veggies or any of the good stuff. So these meals from Thrive Life are really head and shoulders above any of those other brands. And these do have 3 servings in them. Of course, you're probably realistically going to get 2 servings out of them because we all eat more than what a typical serving size should be. But Thrive Life came out with a line of these meals, and they've been releasing them like 2 at a time, which has been kind of nice because I can just throw them in my delivery each month and just get, you know, a couple of them. So the 2 I got this month are the creamy mashed potato bowl, white chicken meat, vegetables, and mashed potatoes in with gravy. And the other one is the breakfast skillet, which is eggs, sausage, and vegetables and potatoes. Now you can see that I got 3 of the potato bowl and I only got 1 of the breakfast one. So I've been buying 3 of each every time they come out because I want to be able to like taste test one and try it out, and then still have a couple that I can put in our food storage or our camping stuff, you know, in my car, in my emergency kit, places like that. I wanted to have a few extra. But the breakfast skillet, I went to add it to my delivery and I saw that it was like a lot of money, like over $20. And I was thinking this can't be right because all the other meals were much more reasonably priced. So I actually thought it was a mistake. So I did reach out and I asked, but they said that that was accurate because you guessed it, it's got eggs in it. And of course, eggs had been so gosh darn expensive. So on this one, I only grabbed 1, just wanted to be able to try it out. But I told Mr. Wicked Prepared, I said, we're going to have to freeze dry our own breakfast skillet because that is just too expensive. Well, a couple of things have happened that are really pretty awesome. The first thing that happened is that Thrive Life just had a big price change take effect site-wide on March 1st. And you're probably wondering how a price change could be awesome because we've seen a whole lot of price changes lately and they've all gone up, which is anything but awesome, right? But I sat down and I looked at the new prices versus the old prices. And yes, some things have gone up. I mean, that's kind of inevitable with the way things are going lately, but the awesome part is that a lot of the prices actually went down, and some went down by quite a bit. In fact, I would say that more things went down than went up. So you're probably wondering, like, how could that be possible? I know that was definitely where my mind went, but, well, the price on this meal, for example, went down by like $6. It went down a lot. But what just happened to the price of eggs? I mean, here where I am, the price of eggs just dropped almost in half. Has this also happened where you are? Let me know down in the comments what the price of eggs is like where you are right now. As far as the rest of the prices, Thrive Life has had some acquisitions recently. They're growing by leaps and bounds, and they're now the largest freeze-drying company in the US and pretty soon to be in the world. So they have more buying power, allowing them to get better deals on their raw products that they're able to pass on to the consumer. So now, don't worry, the quality is not going anywhere. They're still going to have the same quality that they're known for. They still have the same 40-step process of checks that all of their food goes through to make sure that only the best, cleanest food is what they're putting out. So don't worry about that at all. I mean, is there anywhere else nowadays where we can really say they're slashing their prices? But this is really going to benefit all of us so much. So if you haven't checked out Thrive Life in a while, or if you've never checked them out at all, definitely go check them out. We'll put a link down in the description box. And actually, if you've ever thought about joining as a consultant, if you've thought about that as, you know, a second stream of income, this really is a great time to jump on board. Like I said, this company is growing at a tremendous rate. They have been for the last few years. And this whole industry, honestly, is really growing. People are waking up. People are realizing that they really do have to have a good emergency food supply. But not only that, they're realizing it doesn't cut it to just buy some, you know, cheap bucket of survival stuff and stick it under your bed. You have to have good food. You have to have nutritious food. You have to have food that you're going to enjoy eating. And you really have to have more than just a bucket under your bed. So, you know, this is really a great time to jump on board if it's something that you've ever thought about. We'll have some information on that down in the description box as well. Now, I did say there were a couple of cool things happening, right? So what is the other thing? Well, Thrive Life is giving away 3-packs of some of these meals. The 3-pack that they're giving away includes this one right here. It includes the creamy mashed potato bowl, and it also includes the Southwest chicken, which is this one right here, and the chicken spinach Alfredo right here. And they're giving away these 3-packs to anyone who refers an order through their Refer a Friend program. Now, you may have heard me talk about this program before. I love any program that lets me earn free food, or free anything for that matter. But everyone who's registered for a Thrive Life account, a customer account on their website, has a referral link. You can share that link anyhow you want. Social media, text message, email, carrier pigeon, message in a bottle. Actually, I'm not sure those last two would really work. So please don't try that and then come for me when you don't get your free meals. But if you share your link with someone, anyone, and they place an order through your link, you'll earn the free meals. Simple as that. It's going to be like a coupon code that they send by April 15th, I think it said. And you can redeem the coupon for the free 3-pack of meals. And what's different about this offer is that it doesn't even have to be a new customer that you refer to earn the meals. Normally, if you refer a new customer who places a first-time order through your referral link, you'll earn 10% of the value of that first order in free credit. So this month, if this is a new person that you refer who has never ordered from Thrive Life before, you'll still get that 10% in free credit, but you'll also get the 3 free meals. And even if they're not a new customer and they've ordered before, if they order through your link, you won't get the 10% in free credit, but you will still get the free meals. So say you have a friend that you and your friend both order Thrive Life, or your mother or whoever. You know, you can order through each other's links and get those coupons for free meals. They're really just trying to encourage people to use this Refer a Friend program that they have, because it's really an amazing program. And I don't think a ton of people actually take advantage of it, which is surprising, but I think people just either don't even know that it exists, or they are unsure of how to use it, or you know, things like that. So if you want any help taking advantage of this offer, then definitely, we're going to put a phone number down at the bottom of the screen. You can send a text to that number. This is a new service that we've set up for our Thrive Life customers. We've got text alerts. So if you text SALE to the number down at the bottom of the screen, that'll put you on our text list, and we will text you anytime there's a big sale, a coupon code, a new product, you know, anything that you need to know about or might want to know about, like promotions like this, for example, with the 3 free meals. We're not going to spam you constantly. We're not going to give your number to anyone else. It's just us. But so if you're interested in getting those messages, go ahead and text sale to the number that's at the bottom of the screen. And then you can reply to those messages with any questions that you have about the referral link, and we would be glad to help you with that. So everything over here is from Walmart, I believe. Nope, that's not true. These, I got 4 of these Parmesan cheese. These are from Dollar Tree. Now here you go. Here's the thing about these. These large Parmesan cheese from the Dollar Tree, this is the regular size container like you would get at, you know, the regular grocery store. Look at the ingredients. This is terrible. Dairy whey, food starch, rice flour. I don't even know how to say that. Water, palm oil, sodium phosphate. There's just terrible stuff in here. This is not real grated cheese. It's a grated topping with Parmesan. So if you actually want Parmesan cheese and your only option is Dollar Tree, then you're going to want to buy the smaller bottle because this is actually Parmesan cheese. But so you may be asking why I bought these bottles, and I bought 4 of them. Well, I actually bought them for the lids. These type of Parmesan cheese lids fit perfectly on mason jars, the regular mouth mason jars. And I love using them on mason jars. We use them all the time on all sorts of different things. They're so handy for things that you get into a lot because you can open up this side and spoon out of it. You can shake it out of there, just like Parmesan cheese. And I use so many of them, and usually I just wait patiently until we finish our jar of Parmesan cheese, and then I use the lid. But I just needed a bunch more, and I didn't want to wait. And I thought that I'd seen them selling just the lids on Amazon. So I went looking, and I only found 1 listing, and they were super duper expensive. So I realized it was much cheaper for me to just buy these bottles for $1.25 from Dollar Tree and actually just throw away what's inside of them. So I'm going to use these lids. I was a little nervous because that they were from Dollar Tree, I was thinking with my luck, they probably won't fit the way that the other ones do. But these actually fit so much easier on the mason jars than the other brand ones do. I actually was able to do that with one hand. They slide on so well. They're not hard to thread at all. They actually work better than all the other Parmesan cheese lids that I've used to get onto the mason jars. So that's why I bought the terrible, awful, rotten Parmesan cheese from Dollar Tree. I also grabbed a couple of these small onion powders from Walmart just because checking the price per ounce between lots of different stores, Amazon, everything, this ended up being my cheapest option that was available to me right now. I have a lot of recipes that use onion powder, so we go through it quite quickly. This was just kind of a random clearance find in the post Valentine's Day clearance. I don't know if these were 75% off or 90% off, but they're little silicone molds, like candy molds. There's I got 3 that are hearts and 1 that's little roses because that was more expensive, and that's the only one they had. But I thought that these would be great to use for our freeze dryer because sometimes you want to put things into molds and freeze them in little individual servings, like yogurt, for example. We've done eggnog that way. I'm going to do some dog treats. So I figured if I can get these on clearance for super cheap, it beats buying them for the regular price from Amazon or wherever. So I'll just collect as many clearance ones as I can find after every holiday. Nobody's going to really care. I think the hearts are actually pretty cute. The roses, I think it's all pretty cute. And then it's all condiments over here. This is a shelf-stable French onion dip. I have a couple of casseroles that are some of my family's favorites that are French onion, you know, beef casserole, French onion, chicken noodle casserole, things like that. And I usually use the refrigerated tub of dip, but I found that half the time I go to make the recipe and I just kind of forget that I don't have that dip on hand. So I thought I'd keep some of the shelf stable on hand for those times. And I also thought I can do a meal in a bag. I can probably put together a meal in a bag based on some of those recipes and use a dip like this. It was kind of expensive though, and I didn't see a store brand. So that's why I only got one at a time because I thought this was really, really expensive. When the refrigerated one that I usually use is less than $2. I got a couple of large mayonnaise. We're just getting a little bit low in our grocery storage room. So I wanted to make sure we had plenty of that. For preparedness purposes, also think about buying smaller containers like this one that you can get at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree usually has small containers like this or smaller. Or you might even want to consider packets. You can either buy them from like Amazon, or you could just save extra packets that you get when you get takeout or fast food or whatever. Because think about the situation if you're in a situation where you don't have refrigeration. Now, there are very few condiments that I actually refrigerate nowadays because we just don't have the refrigerator space for all of them, and I found that most of them really don't need it, even if they say they do. But mayonnaise is one that I wouldn't feel comfortable leaving out for very, very long. So think about if you want to stock some smaller sizes. We usually keep some of these on hand. I'm going to have to pick up some more of these because we've been cycling through the ones that we have. Just so that we can replace them with new because we don't want them getting super old. But it's good to have smaller containers on hand for times that you might be without power. Behind that, I also got 2 of these really big ketchups. I had bought a ton of these ketchups when they had them at Dollar Tree because it was the best deal that I could find. It was a big container and it was only $1. Well, now I haven't been able to find these at our Dollar Tree for a long time, and the price has also gone up to $1.25. So we'd used up our row that we have in our upstairs food storage, and we went to replace it with some from the basement, and we don't have a whole lot left down there after that. So I realized we need to start stocking up on ketchup again. We do go through a lot of ketchup, both as a condiment for our food, but also just as an ingredient in a lot of different recipes. Now this Veganaise, I just grabbed this at Walmart. This is the smaller jar. One of my daughters is obsessed with Veganaise, and this stuff is expensive, and where I live, it's very difficult to find. I hadn't been able to find it at any of our grocery stores, and Walmart didn't have it. Our Walmart didn't have it. And the only place I could find it around here was our little teeny natural food store, and it was super expensive. So I had ordered some from Azure Standard because they had a better price. But all of a sudden I saw it pop up on my Ibotta app at Walmart. And so I figured I would check and see if our Walmart had it. And lo and behold, they do. I think it must be a new offering for them, or else they had just been out of it for a long time. But the rebate was for $2.75 off, and it was for any size, any variety. And this small bottle here was only $5.98, which is expensive for a little bottle of mayonnaise, but it's not expensive for this Veganaise brand, which is vegan mayonnaise. So I grabbed one of these. I could have used that rebate 5 times, so that was almost half price for this, which was a really good deal considering how much my daughter loves this stuff. I could have gotten 5. The rebate was available to use 5 times, but I kind of forgot to adjust the amount in my cart, so I'll get some more next time. Then I got 4 of the low sodium soy sauce. This is another ingredient in our favorite teriyaki chicken recipe. So like I said, I'm going to be canning up a bunch of this. We always keep quite a bit of this on hand because the teriyaki recipe uses a good amount of it. So we go through it pretty quickly. And so I'm just replacing. And then I grabbed some more of this La Choy sweet and sour sauce. I like to keep both this one and the Kikkoman on hand because I really like to actually mix them both together. That's how I like them in the sweet and sour meatball recipe that I use them in. So those have been out of stock for quite a while. I had a hard time finding them. So now that they're back in stock, I grabbed 3 of those. And now onto this stuff over here. We've got breakfast and snacks over here. I got a ton, as you can see, of Life cereals. I got these smaller boxes were just a regular sale at one of a grocery store that's kind of near us. I have to go half an hour to get to that grocery store, but these were smaller boxes were $1.77. They have that sale quite often, but because it is such a distance for me to get there, I don't always get there. So I think I got a dozen boxes, and then I also grabbed all the boxes that I found at our Walmart on clearance. This is the bigger box, and it was marked down to $2.20. My kids love the cereal. This is like the only cereal they want to eat these days. It's really good cereal. So anytime I can find it on a better price, I do grab as much as I can. I would like to say that this would last several months. I don't know if it will, honestly. They go through it really quickly. And then the other cereal I grabbed was just these 4 boxes of Corn Chex. Nobody really eats the Corn Chex as a cereal, but we do make lots of Muddy Buddies with it, which we love. And we'll use any kind of Chex or Crispix or any cereal that looks like that for the Muddy Buddies, because once you coat it with a bunch of chocolate and powdered sugar, you're not going to notice. And cereal is a really good thing, in my opinion, to have in your prepper pantry. You definitely need to cycle through it and rotate through it because it's not going to last, more than a few years before it gets stale or rancid. But as long as you have some kind of shelf-stable milk on hand, we like these are the shelf-stable milks that we really like. And, you can have some freeze-dried fruit, and that's going to make a really good meal that doesn't require any kind of electricity or refrigeration. And now on to snacks. And I just have to say, let's talk about snacks for a minute. You guys, when you see the snacks that I buy for my kids, you're probably thinking that we have a terrible diet. They have a terrible diet. Some of these snacks are not the healthiest, but you got to remember, I'm showing you guys, these are prepper pantry hauls. So I'm showing you guys the shelf-stable snacks that we have. You're not seeing things that, aren't shelf-stable, like the fresh fruits and vegetables, things like cheese and things like that. And none of my kids have a weight problem. None of my kids have any health problems. So I kind of think everything in moderation. And sometimes it's just good for us to have some snacks that are just easy for them to grab, to throw in their lunchbox, to take with them when they're going somewhere, and to have on hand for emergencies. I like to stock up on quite a bit extra, because that's something that I find in an emergency, we always reach for snacks, and you always want to have plenty of snack foods, especially if this may, drag on for longer and longer. But with that being said, I am always looking for ideas for shelf-stable snacks that are healthier. I mean, we do have like nuts. We do nuts, applesauce pouches. I'm on the fence about how healthy that actually is. More nuts. We do like our freeze-dried food in the snackies bags. The kids are always taking these. But drop me your ideas down in the comments of what kind of shelf-stable snacks your kids like that are actually a little bit healthier, because I'm always looking for ideas. But what I did get here is I got a couple of these boxes of these Lance cracker sandwiches. Now, my kids really like the cream cheese and chives, so I had ordered 2 boxes of just that kind. But these were substituted, and I figured like it's probably good for them to try some different kinds. And if the kids won't eat them, then Mr. Wicked Prepared will eat them, or one of the kids' friends will eat them. Somebody will eat them. And then I did get a box of these Scooby snacks in the individual packs, and also a box of the Great Value like mini teddy bear graham crackers. My youngest daughter loves Nutella, and I have a lot of these little individual packs that I can send with her in her lunchbox or wherever, and so I like to have something for her to dip in them to kind of make it into a complete snack. And then of course more granola bars. We love these sweet and salty, as you can tell. I'm always buying these. I've got 2 of the medium boxes of the peanut, medium box of the almond, and these small boxes of the cashew. Now these are actually really, for some reason this variety is less expensive. It only comes in the 6-pack, but it's like $1.63 or something for the 6-pack, where the other flavors are all more money than that for the 6-pack size. I'm not sure why this is less, but I buy the other flavors because my middle daughter really likes these bars, but she's sensitive like to the cashew and the almond. She can really only eat the peanut. So I just buy all the flavors, but we do like these because they've got the nuts. They've got a good amount of energy in them, I think. And then I did grab, this is a variety pack with like 4 of the regular size boxes in one big box of the fruit and grain kind of Nutri-Grain bars. That's just an easy, quick breakfast if you're packing up like little homemade MREs, or you're packing up snacks to have in your car or whatever. These are great to have on hand. And then these are just the chocolate covered chocolate chip granola bars. This is my youngest daughter's absolute favorite. She loves these things. And then I did get 3 of these 20 packs, the value packs of the maple brown sugar oatmeal. This is my kids' favorite flavor, I think. My kids love instant oatmeal, so I keep a lot of this on hand. When they were little, they used to make this all the time. It was one of the first things they could make for themselves, because we have our water cooler, which also dispenses hot water, so they could grab a couple packs of oatmeal and dump it in a mug or a bowl and add some water and make their own snack or breakfast. And when they were really little, I actually had them trained to use 1 pack of flavored and 1 pack of plain, so they had less sugar. But now they don't do that anymore. They won't do that. But I had gotten a ton of these pumpkin spice on clearance. And this was a couple of years ago, I think. I got so many of them that we still have some of them. And I was just thinking how thankful I was that I had found that deal. But my son has gotten on an oatmeal kick lately, and he will eat like 5 or 6 packets at a time, so we've been going through it really quickly. So I realized I really need to replace. I haven't had to buy oatmeal for quite a while because of that great deal that I got on those pumpkin spice ones, which is not their favorite, but they still like that flavor. They'll eat it. It tastes kind of similar to the maple brown sugar, but that was just kind of fortuitous luck to find those on sale that year. Couple more snacks. These are the individual packs of the shelled pistachios, just because that's an easier snack. My daughter really likes pistachios, my youngest daughter. And so this is something that I can pack with her, pack in the car, pack lots of places for her. And then also the applesauce packs. We like these because they're very portable. And if you want to throw these into bug out bags, into 72-hour kits, into homemade MREs and things like that, you don't need a utensil. You don't need much. You just eat it right out of the pouch. So these next few things here I got at Save-A-Lot. I don't know how widespread Save-A-Lot is, so I don't know. Let me know if you have a Save-A-Lot near you or if you've ever heard of it. But most of these are clearance items. They had these Herdez salsas that they had marked down, and I do like these salsas a lot. We do. And they had these marked down to $2, and then they had 50-cent coupons on them. And so that's actually a good deal for this brand of salsa. This one we like to eat just plain with chips or whatever. These I tend to use in recipes, or even just to pour over a pork roast with a little cumin and like a block of cream cheese, and that makes a really good kind of low-carb dish if you shred up the meat when it's all done. So anytime I can get a deal on something like that, I grab it. And then I found this deal on these Hamburger Helpers, which I was really excited about. These were marked at $1.25 and they had 50-cent coupons off on them. So that made them 75 cents, which I thought was a really good deal for the name brand. The box looked small, so I actually had to look up on my Walmart app and make sure that this was the regular size box, but it matched up to the size that they had at Walmart. So I actually bought 2 dozen of these because it was such a good deal. And these are expiring pretty quickly, or the best by date, but honestly, there's nothing in these packages that's going to go bad anytime soon. So these are going to be good for quite a while. I don't cook Hamburger Helper as much as I used to back, you know, when I was a young mother and I didn't have, you know, as many recipes that I knew as I do now. I used to cook Hamburger Helper a lot more often. I don't cook it as much now, but it is something that my kids can cook, and I think this would make a great emergency meal. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is package some of these up. We usually make 2 boxes at a time, but I only use 1 pound of ground beef when I do that, to cut down on the cost a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to package some of these up, 2 boxes of the Hamburger Helper with 2 cups of freeze-dried ground beef and the equivalent amount of instant milk powder for the amount of milk that it calls for in the Hamburger Helper, because that's one thing about Hamburger Helper, like you actually do need to have some fresh ingredients. So I'm going to make this into a shelf-stable complete meal by adding the freeze-dried Hamburg and the instant milk powder and probably a couple of bottles of water and a couple cans of veggie to have for a side dish. That way they'll be kind of emergency ready. They'll also be something that's easy for the kids to whip up if I'm not home. Things like that. My daughter actually was just talking about stroganoff Hamburger Helper last night. Somebody, I don't remember what brought it up to her, but she said she was really kind of craving it. So I guess we'll have some soon. And then these few cans, these were not a particularly good deal. They were in this section that they have like of just random stuff that they have for a limited time. These sausages, I had been seeing these on Amazon for a couple years, and they're not terribly expensive. And at first I was kind of intrigued because we, you know, love breakfast sausage, but I read some of the reviews and I decided they probably weren't worth trying. But then I saw, I think it was Alaska Prepper, who did a video where he tried them out and kind of did a review on them. And he actually ended up saying that even though they look pretty disgusting to start with, they really weren't that bad, you know, once you cooked them up. So when I saw these at Save-A-Lot sold by the individual can, because on Amazon it's a whole case, but it's still a really good price. But I decided I'd buy 2 of these so that we could try them out ourselves and see what we think about them. And then these I keep seeing, and they're not really inexpensive. They're about like, I think $1.79. So I had not even given them a second glance because I'm like, that's pretty expensive when you can get a Chef Boyardee for usually under $1. But my daughter is always asking for chicken Alfredo or pasta Alfredo. And so I thought if this is any good, it would actually be a handy item to have on hand for her because she really likes that. So something that she would really like in emergencies. It could be eaten straight out of the jar. You know, you don't even have to heat it if you don't want to or if you can't. So I just bought 1 to try because we're going to see how it is. And then I've got these cleaning supplies. Now this is pretty much the last thing I've got here. I got a couple big jugs of drain cleaner. This is just the Walmart brand. I think it works fine. I feel like you want to have a good supply of your basic cleaning supplies, your basic cleaning necessities. And honestly, I didn't always used to worry too much about keeping my cleaning supplies on hand, but it was this item right here, this bleach cleaner, that really started me on this, because during the pandemic when the shelves were kind of wiped clean, and especially of cleaning products, and the supply chain kind of ground to a halt, I love this bleach cleaner right here, this Walmart Great Value cleaner with bleach. This is 98 cents and it's still 98 cents. And I think it's a really good cleaner. I really like it. For certain things, I only use it for like litter boxes and animal pens. And, you know, back when my kids were in diapers, I used to use it in the diaper pails. But I do use it regularly. And I wasn't able to find it for over a year at any of my Walmarts near me. They didn't have this for over a year during 2020. And so that was what made me realize, and it was not the end of the world. I was able to get a different bleach cleaner, but it was twice as expensive. So every time I bought it, I was spending twice as much as I would have. So that's what really got me into the mindset of really wanting to keep a good supply of this type of item on hand, like my cleaning supplies. I try to keep it at least 6 months or more. So I picked up another couple bottles of this drain cleaner. This is kind of to have on hand for, you know, if it was a real dire emergency and things really go south, you probably won't even have plumbing. So drain cleaner might not be, you know, that important. But if it's something that's a little bit more mild, then you might want to have your drain cleaner. The bleach cleaner, like I said, that's a big one. I got 4 of those. It's still 98 cents. It's one of those items that's still a really great deal at Walmart and hasn't gone up. The white vinegar, this is a really good item to have on hand in your prepper pantry for a lot of reasons. It is actually good for cleaning and disinfecting and things like that. I don't personally like to clean with vinegar because I don't like the smell of it, but in an emergency, your cleaning habits might change a lot. You can use this in your laundry. I do use it in my laundry. You can even pour it in your fabric softener dispenser and use it in place of a more chemically fabric softener. It's supposed to be better for you. I myself still like the smelly, like chemically fabric softener because I really like pleasant smells. But when I do like our bedding for our guinea pigs and things, I use vinegar because that's going to be better for them than all those chemicals. And the other thing that you really want to have plenty of vinegar on hand for is preserving, like food preserving, pickling and things like that. I use a ton of vinegar making things like pickles and relishes and things like that. So this is something that between the laundry and the food preserving, we do go through quite a bit of white vinegar. And it's a really good idea to have that on hand in your own home, whether you use a lot of it now or not. If things go south, you might use more of it than you do now. Then the Barkeeper's Friend. I love this stuff. This is, and it's very inexpensive at Walmart. The only thing I really use it for is cleaning my sink, scouring my sink, but it works great for that. So if you have other things that you use this for, this Barkeeper's Friend, let me know down in the comments because I would love to use it for some more things than that. The only thing I don't love about this is that it's in this like container that it's in is kind of cardboard. So the one that I have been using got a little bit wet under the sink, and of course it came apart and disintegrated, and it has a big hole in the side now. So I think I'm going to put it into a mason jar with one of those Parmesan cheese lids on it. So I think that's probably what I'll be doing with my Barkeeper's Friend from now on. And then the final thing over here is bleach, of course. Bleach is something, it is important to have, but you have to remember that it doesn't have a very long shelf life. A lot of people don't realize that. 6 to 9 months is the shelf life on bleach, basically. And after that, you might not even realize it. It might kind of look the same and smell the same, but it's not going to do the things that you're counting on the bleach to do, like disinfect and sanitize and all that. So what you really want to keep on hand more for prepping purposes is Pool Shock, because that is a lot more stable. You can keep it a lot longer and use a very tiny amount and actually mix up fresh bleach every time you need it. But I do keep about 6 months of bleach on hand. I do use it for laundry. And so this is probably as much as I would need to keep on hand because we don't use it very quickly. And I don't want to keep too much because I don't want it sitting around too long. But I do count on bleach to sanitize and disinfect and things like that. I'm expecting it to do that. I use it in things like towel loads and sheets and undergarments and things like that. So, and anything that's just really nasty. So I definitely don't want to keep it around for longer than 6 months or so. Okay guys, that's the latest that we've added to our prepper pantry. Thank you as always for spending a little bit of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to let us know by hitting the like button down below. Keep on prepping, keep your eyes wide open and your head on a swivel always. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a green heart emoji down in the comments. And check out this playlist right up here for some more ideas for your preps. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.